Alright, let's get started. Succeeding in 2011 as a marketing consultant. What we're going to learn in this video: being your own boss, the pros and cons, how to be productive, skills needed in order to succeed, going back to the basics, a business formula flowchart, lead generation ideas, and more. Alright, so let's dive in. Pros of being your own boss. Pros are you can make your own hours, can work at home, there's no one to tell you what to do, and you can run the business the way you want. The cons of being your own boss are exactly the same. Making your own hours, working at home, no one telling you what to do, and running the business the way you want. The reason why the pros and the cons are the exact same is because if we dive a little deeper, you make your own hours. So one of the most difficult things working at home or working on your own, whether you have an office or if you do work out of your house, is making your own hours. If you're, for instance, at home, the kitchen's right there, TV, you can take a nap, you can eat, you can do, there's a ton of things to do around the house when you should be working. So that is both a pro and a con. So we got in, can work at home. There's no one there to tell you what to do. Since you're your own boss, you have to know exactly what you got to do throughout the day and throughout the week and basically throughout the year to get things done and to do the things that are actually going to lead to getting clients and actually getting an income from this. There's no boss telling you here's what you got to do, here's how to do it, here's the time frame. You got to do that on your own, and you have to have the self-discipline to get things accomplished, and more importantly, get things accomplished that lead to getting clients. Again, like I said, getting clients and getting paid and things like that. It's one thing to get things done, and to another to get things done that actually lead to progress. So again, being your own boss, pros and cons are pretty much the same, depending how you look at it, which brings me to one of the toughest things for entrepreneurs, and that is focus. Kind of briefly just talked about it, but um, there's just so many distractions around you, again, in getting things done and blocking out time to actually get things done, to get work done, and to have the discipline to ignore other things that might distract you and grab your attention. It's important to focus your attention and have that discipline. It's literally, in my opinion, one of the hardest things, if not the hardest thing, for a self-employed person. So, focus. I'm going to give you a couple tips here to help with that. But before that, humans make decisions to either avoid pain or gain pleasure. Most people, avoiding pain is the bigger motivator. You might have heard that. And humans are hardwired for instant gratification. It's hard to face discomfort now and do things to better your future. It's just easier to do things that give you the instant gratification. And what I mean by these three is, this is why, in my opinion, a lot of people are watching TV and just wasting time on Facebook, checking emails, and wasting a bunch of time on forums, because, like I just said, humans are hardwired to avoid pain or gain pleasure and instant gratification. So when you're watching TV, you're doing both. You're avoiding the pain and you're gaining pleasure, and you're getting that instant gratification of enjoying, the relaxation, maybe catching a show that makes you laugh or just a show you enjoy. So it's very difficult, back to the focus and being distracted. It's very difficult to, again, get things done when you're the only one that's pushing yourself. So keep these three things in mind, and I'll talk a little more about this later in the video, but just keep these in the back of your head. And here's one of my favorite quotes, and that is, everything you desire is outside of your comfort zone, or else you'd have it already. So think about that. And actually, I'll come back to that in a second, but you need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, and then step just outside your comfort zone, and then you want to be doing this all the time, stepping outside of your comfort zone. Now back to the quote. Think about this. Everything you desire is outside of your comfort zone, or else you have it already. That's why people don't progress and move forward with things, is because they're afraid to leave their comfort zone. They feel uncomfortable, and back to avoiding pain and gaining pleasure. You're not going to deliberately put yourself through pain, so to speak, to get things done. But the irony is, that's kind of what you have to do sometimes to progress and basically create the life that you want. If you're not living the life that you currently desire, let's say right now, if you're not a consultant already, let's say you have the typical 9 to 5 job. Now obviously it's going to suck if you got to work 9 to 5 and you got to deal with the traffic and get home, and if you have a family, you got to spend time with them. You of course have to eat, shower, and take care of little things that pop up through life. So at the same time, if you want to get started in consulting, you have to set aside time to get work done, whether it's at night or if you wake up early or whatever. But of course, that's going to be uncomfortable, and it's not something you really want to do. So back to the quote. The thing is, you have to do those things. You have to step outside your comfort zone, and if you got to do that things. You got to do those things to make progress. So remember that quote. Everything is outside of your comfort zone, or else you'd have it already. Really think about that if it hasn't sunk in yet. Just keep it in the back of your mind, and maybe it'll, one day it'll hit you, and like, oh, that's what he meant. So let's move on here. Here's some productivity tips. Before you go to sleep, think about what you want to accomplish tomorrow. Now, I'm not going to get into too much on this, but basically, it has to do with how your brain works and things like that. You basically want to give your brain some ideas of what you want to accomplish the next day. So while you're sleeping, your brain can work on how to get those tasks done and things like that, and come up with ideas and all that stuff. I know it might sound hokey to some people, but just try it out. Before you go to sleep, think about what you want to accomplish tomorrow. And then when you do wake up, do the uncomfortable and highest leverage things first. It's probably obvious, but let's say you wake up, I don't know, let's just say 8 o'clock, you wake up, you do the things, you have your to-do list, which you should be using, by the way. You wake up, and you do the things on your list that are highest leverage, and going back to the focus and all that. Highest leverage being, of course, doing the things that actually progress you to accomplishing your goals and move you forward. Highest leverage is not doing things like checking your email, which is actually third here, checking your email, Facebook, jumping on forums and doing all that, and just constantly doing those things all day that pretty much just waste time. So do the uncomfortable and highest leverage things first. And the other reason for that is because if you get them done, and even if you screwed around the rest of the day, you at least accomplished more than most people do. And then lastly here, evaluate yourself at the end of the day. Think about what you did wrong, what you could have done better, what you're going to do tomorrow again, and things like that, and just basically to help you out for the next day. Constantly be doing this and evaluating yourself. And I mentioned the to-do list. I actually went out and bought. I tried doing a to-do list on my computer, like just a Word file, but I found myself I wasn't really using it. So what I did is I went out and actually bought a notebook, and then of course grabbed a pen, and now I have pen and paper basically. So every day I write down my to-do list, do it before I go to sleep, so I know what I'm doing again the next day. And basically, if you really think about it, it comes down to thinking about what you have to do, and then writing it down, and then checking off the list. If you were to do that, just that one thing, your life would dramatically change. So grab some pen and paper. Now, it's more to do, again, things I'm not going to get into, but there's something about actually grabbing a pen or pencil and physically writing something down. Something to do with your brain. I don't know what it is, but it just helps. So there's some tips for you. Also, throughout your day, always be asking, what's my outcome? Is this the best use of my time right now? And am I doing something that is benefiting my business, or am I wasting time? Which I'd like to refer to that last one as doing business versus playing business. A lot of people are playing business but think they're doing business. And the difference, of course, playing business is doing a bunch of things to seem busy and seem like you're getting things done, but really at the end of the day, nothing really was accomplished that was productive. So doing business is doing things that are productive and move you forward and move you towards your goals. So, and these 3 questions are basically, they're kind of like, I guess you would call them anchor points, or basically reminders. If you're finding yourself, let's say, wasting an hour on the warrior form, and then all of a sudden you remember, hey, what's my outcome for today? And is wasting time on the warrior form the best use of my time right now? Now, of course, there's a time and place for that. Not knocking the warrior form, but you're just trying to get a point across here. And again, just use these as pretty much constant reminders. If you want, you can even grab some post-it notes, write these questions down, and stick them up on your mirror in your bathroom or your steering wheel or whatever. I used to actually have something taped to my steering wheel just as a constant reminder. So ask those 3 questions throughout your day.